Hello and welcome to my guide to the very first wing of Warlords of Draenor, which is in Highmaul. Now, this is not a particularly hard LFR wing because it is the very first one of the expansion. However, it is definitely worth knowing what's going on, and the aim of this guide is to just very quickly give you the idea and tell you roughly what you need to know to not die. As this is an LFR guide, there may be one or two intricate mechanics or something like that that I don't cover because I don't feel that you really need to know it in LFR difficulty. However, if you want to know more, you can check out my normal/heroic guides. Okay, so first up we've got Kargath Blade Fist. So you fight this guy in the middle of the room, and there are a bunch of fire pillars, just don't run into them. But stand around them because of a ability that I'm going to cover in a second. Now, Kargath also does an AoE attack called Blade Dance. Because of this, you just want to spread out 7 yards. Now, sometimes Kargath will do something called Berserker Rush. This causes him to fixate on a target and rush towards them. If you stand in front of Kargath, he will probably kill you, or at least make your day very bad, so stand clear of him. Now, if you are fixated, what you want to do is kite him into one of the flame pillars. That will cause him to get really pissed off and, well, he'll stop rushing, which is a pretty good thing for you. Now, also, there are a bunch of mobs on the stands of the Colosseum who throw puddles of poison and dots at you. Just don't stand in the poison thingies. Now, there is a tank swap called Impale on this fight. It happens every 45 seconds, and it applies a 75-second debuff. Use mitigation if you have high stacks. The Chain Hurl, which I'm going to cover in a minute, will basically deal with stack management for the most part, though. Now, from time to time, as I said, he will do Chain Hurl. This causes him to choose the tank with the highest stacks of Impale, and then 1 random healer and 3 random DPS. He then throws them up into the stands. When you're there, just kill as many Bile Slingers and Bombers as you possibly can, as they are responsible for attacking the rest of the raid. And that's it for the fight. It really is very simple. So, for a quick summary, DPS, spread 7 yards, stay near the fire pillars in case you need to kite Kargath, kill Bile Slingers and Bombers if you get tossed up into the stands, and don't stand in the myriad forms of crap on the floor. Now, if you're a healer, again, spread 7, stay near a fire pillar in case you need to kite Kargath, watch out because the tank with high stacks of Impale will take high damage, and don't stand on the various bollocks on the floor. It shouldn't be too hard as a healer on this difficulty. Now, for tanks, just use mitigation if you have high stacks of Impale, and then gather as many mobs as you feel comfortable with if you're thrown up onto the stands, and prioritize making your way to the various bombers. And then finally, tank the boss in the middle of the room. Okay, so next we have the Butcher. Now, the good news is that Butcher has been turned into LoL easy mode because his mechanics are inherently very LFR unfriendly, let's just say. Now, his main mechanic is a Cleave that hits the largest stack of melee players. It applies a debuff called Gushing Wounds that will kill you if it hit 5 stacks. But don't worry, because that won't happen as the duration of this bleed is actually 5 seconds lower in LFR. Just try to have a stack, or well, 1 to 2 stacks of melee players, and you will do fine. Now, his next ability is Bounding Cleave. He will knock everyone back and then charge the largest range stack, and he'll then do Cleave. The damage is spread so it isn't too high, just if you are ranged, try to stack up, and you'll all be grand. Now, the extra time afforded by him doing Bounding Cleave means that Gushing Wounds won't tick up to 5 and kill people, but I think it's still worth mentioning what Gushing Wounds should do in case you ever decide to venture into normal or heroic mode. Now, also, tanks have to deal with some lovely swap mechanics. If you're a tank, just stand away from the main melee stack and swap at about 4 stacks of Tenderizer. It's easy to tank the boss in the middle of the room, however in this footage someone did ninja pull, so we were at the side. Now, at 30% he does Frenzy, which is just an Enrage which increases his damage by 10% and attack speed by 30%. That is not really much of a problem because you'll blast him down very quickly. So, for the TLDR, if you're in the melee, stack up at the boss, try to form 2 different stacks if you can, and also move back to the boss after Bounding Cleave. If you're a healer, well, be sure to heal the tank with high stacks of Tenderizer because they can take a lot of damage, and also ground heals and AoE heals are really good for healing up the melee stack. Then also stack up with other ranged players at the Bounding Cleave. And then finally, if you're a ranged DPS, well, you've got the nicest job of all. Just stack at Bounding Cleave, but other than that, sit back, relax, and deal as much damage as you humanly can. Now finally, we have Brackenspore. This fight shouldn't be too bad, however, if everyone tunnel visions, then you might end up dying somehow. So on a personal level, do try to deal with the mechanics. At the very least, it will make you a better player. Now, he will spawn a large fungal ad from time to time. This should be focused down and taken by the off-tank as the damage is kinda nasty. So that's cool. Now, the other thing that he does is spawn various forms of mushrooms. This is one of the main things about the fight. Now, there's 2 good mushrooms and 2 bad mushrooms. First, I will cover the bad. So, Mind Fungus will pulse out an AoE that will reduce your cast speed, stand away from it, and kill it. Spore Shooters will shoot a bullet that does an AoE. It's basically a pea shooter from Plants vs. Zombies. Just move up to these, and then soak the bullet, so stand in the path of the bullet, and then kill it. If you have loads of pea shooters, or spore shooters even, hitting a group of people, and mind funguses, and they're standing in the crap, then, you know what, maybe people could die and it wouldn't be nice in the healers. So just deal with those. Now also, there are the 2 good funguses. Now, these will give you a benefit if they are healed up to full, so if you're a healer, heal them up. The living mushrooms pulse out a 20-yard heal, and the rejuvenating mushrooms will give you 30% haste, which is kinda lovely. Also, moss can spread throughout the room. The player with a flamethrower should just use that on the moss while ensuring they don't overheat the flamethrower. He will also do a frontal cone that decreases your healing taken by 99%. So point the boss away from the raid and have the off-tank stand on the raid side so that they don't get hit as well. And then you just want to swap on this mechanic. So to recap, if you're a DPS, just kill the bad mushrooms and focus on the big ad first. Also stack near the living mushrooms for free heals. If you're a healer, just heal up the good mushrooms and stack near the living mushrooms. And if you're a tank, swap on Necrotic Breath, which is the frontal cone that I mentioned earlier. And then also just point the boss away from the raid. Also, if you're the off-tank, then you can take that large ad. That's really it for this fight. It is honestly pretty easy. Alright then, so that is it for this quick guide to the very first wing of LFR. I think perhaps this one's ended up being a good bit easier than maybe most of us would have expected based on maybe Siege of Orgrimmar experience, but still, it's worth knowing what's going on, and if you know what's going on and then you want to transition up to a higher level of difficulty with more rewards, then, well, that transition will be easier. So that's it from the guide. Be sure to stay tuned to the channel for more guides and daily World of Warcraft content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.